Today we're going to be replacing the shock absorber and the stabilizer bar link on a 2004 Volvo S80. So the shock absorber is right here. The upper portion of the shock stem goes through the trunk of the car. The lower portion is down here. And it's secured by an 18mm bolt. The stabilizer bar link is right over here. Stabilizer bar is over here, and this is the link to the upper control arm of the rear knuckle. So we're going to start by removing the 18mm bolt that secures the lower portion of the shock absorber. The rear seat has to be folded down. This felt liner has to be pulled back. This foam cushion pulled away. That exposes the shock absorber stem with the securing nut. So to remove that, you have to use a Torx T40 tool with a 18mm pass-through wrench. You could use a box wrench. I put the pass-through tool on here and use the Torx socket to prevent the shaft of the shock absorber from moving. Now I can torque it off. This way. This way. Now I should be able to pull the shock absorber out. Okay, the shock absorber is out, but it won't clear through the rear knuckle. So what I'll do is I'll put a jack stand underneath the knuckle, apply compression to the spring, and then I should be able to pull the shock absorber out. And there we go. So here's the new shock absorber. I'm going to take this band off, which will expand the shock. Now it's moving up. Okay, now we're going to put the shock absorber back, the new one, back into the steering knuckle. Now release the tension a little bit here on the hydraulic jack. I got the base of the shock absorber braced into the lower knuckle. So now I could go back through the trunk and secure the nut onto the stem of the shock absorber. Now this is an aftermarket shock absorber, so instead of using a Torx socket, I'm using a 5mm hex socket to hold the shaft in place. And we're using a 17mm pass-through socket. Okay, we're done here. I'll put back on this little stupid foam protector thingy. And this could get pulled back over. This felt covering could get pushed back over. And you got this little plastic clip that goes in there, and the seat can be pushed back. Okay, now we got to install this bolt on the lower portion of the shock absorber through the rear suspension knuckle. Alright, now I'm going to try to put the bolt through, see if it goes in. But it's not catching the threads on the other side. Oh, I think I caught it. Now we're going to have to replace, the sway bar link. So that's also an 18 millimeter bolt. So I'll just release the initial tension off of it. Obviously it's spinning. Same thing with this lower one. I just want to take the tension off. So I'm going to use my T40 Torx along with my 18 millimeter pass-through socket and remove the nut off the sway bar link. Okay, so now this brake line is in the way. I just can't take it off of my hand, so I have to apply a little bit of tension on the line so I could get the bar off. There. Alright, so this is a new sway bar link. We've already attached the grease fittings and I pumped in a little bit of grease, so this is all ready to install. Get that in. So I got the top in. Okay, I think I may have to move the sway bar a little bit. Try to work it in. There. Okay, this is 18 millimeter. The nut. Top one. Okay, the shaft didn't spin, so we're done.